Hello there, my name is Martin Henley. This is the Effective Marketing Company YouTube channel. And if you've spent any time looking at the content on this channel, you will know that I am on a mission to support you if you are looking to be more successful in your business. As far as I know, the only way to do that is through your marketing. So not only on this channel am I giving you everything I know about marketing and how to be successful in your business, I'm also dragging in experts with specific knowledge and experience in the specific aspects of marketing. This week, the guest has been managing director of his own PR company for the last 25 years. He has founded and is currently vice president of two charities in Sussex. That's Chestnut Tree House and St Barnabas House. That's been going on for 23 and a half years. He has been a radio presenter for 30 years. And for those of you who are Soul fans, you might know him on Twitter as Mr. Love. That's L-U-R-V-E, the Soul Master, radio presenter. This week's guest is Ambrose Harcourt from Ambrose Harcourt PR. Hello, Ambrose. How are you?
Good afternoon to you, Martin. I'm pretty good, thanks. Speaking to you from the UK.
Excellent.
And just outside Brighton.
Fantastic. And how is the mood there?
Weather is not great, but hey, the mood is always good, positive, very positive.
Excellent, cool. Okay, so as you know, I'm on a mission to extract as much information I can from you to really support my viewers to understand more about PR in this instance and how PR could be working to help them to be more successful in their business. So there are only 4 questions. The first question is, how are you qualified to talk to us about PR? The second question is, who are your customers, or who have your customers been? I know you're not so busy with PR right now. And how have you added value to their lives? The third question is, what is your recommendation for anyone who is thinking about investing in PR for their business? And the fourth question is, who would you recommend might also enjoy speaking to me in this fashion? So the first question, how are you qualified to talk to us about PR?
Well, I've run a PR company for over 25 years. We founded Ambrose Harcourt PR in 1997. And we're still functioning, but not as much as we were before, when we were really, really hyperactive. Because our specialist area in the PR is hospitality. And of course, like everybody knows, that's the area that's been hardest hit with the pandemic. But in that time, we've dealt with not just hospitality business. We've had solicitors as clients. We've had all kinds of different people, estate agents. We've had people starting off their own business. We've dealt with multinational companies like Brewing Dolphin, many, many different companies that we've dealt with. So, yeah, we've got some great expertise in PR and marketing.
Excellent. So I think that people don't really understand marketing. And I think there's lots of things they don't understand about marketing. But one of the things that they definitely don't understand, I think, is PR. So I think there are some different flavors to PR, and PR means different things to different people. What is your particular flavor of PR, or how do you understand PR?
Yeah, PR is one of those areas of business or marketing that has really expanded quite a lot, because a lot of PR companies are very, very specialist these days. They deal with very particular clients. And then you have companies like ours who would say we dealt with general PR, but specializing more in the marketing area. And then so if you are looking for a marketing company, the best idea for you to see who in the area that you're looking to help expand, not expand your business, but to help bring the profile of your business up and help you with shouting more about your business, the bits that you want to talk about, like if you're expanding or if you're looking for new staff, and increase your profile in the area that you do business in. That's the kind of PR that you should be looking for if you were looking for a marketing or PR company in your area.
Okay, so is this about, the way I think about PR traditionally, I think there's kind of 2 major aspects to it. There's the getting into the press aspect, and there's kind of like the reputation management aspect. So do either of those apply particularly to what it is that you're doing? Or
Yeah,
you say it's
but
more,
in fact, both of them as such. I mean, I think most people looking for PR are looking for a company who will get them, who will shout about them to the press, get them a lot of publicity, increase their profile, raise awareness of their business in the area. I think that is the thing that practically every company is looking for. A company that you can work with that would spread the word about your business, get you better known, and people talk about you in a nice, positive way. Then you have areas where a company gets you in because they've had some very, very bad publicity. and they want you to try and help and soothe things for them, and that's quite difficult, especially depending on how bad the damage is. And I always say to the company, to most companies that we deal with, if there's a bad situation, the first thing is straight away be honest about what it is. Like, once people know that you're being honest, they sort of treat you better than if you didn't tell them and they find out you've been lying. So honesty is, so for me, it's always been the best policy. But PR is about being honest. But you got to be careful how you're doing the honesty bit, because sometimes it could be too honest, if you understand what I mean, Martin.
I
And
understand what you
that's it.
mean.
But yeah, exactly. But the most important thing that people hire a PR company for is, one, to raise their profile, create more awareness, help them increase their revenue. Because the more people know about you, the more they want to do business with you. And if they're hearing about you in a very, very good way in the press and publicity pictures, I always say to practically every company I deal with, every picture tells a story. If I'm doing a press release for them, I say I need a picture to go with it, because if you can write the stuff, but if they can see a picture they can relate to, it makes an awful lot of difference. Does that make sense, Martin?
It makes absolute sense. So, it makes sense. So, kind of your role in this is creating kind of like an image for them and the imagery that goes along with that, and then promoting them to or through the media. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
absolutely. And yeah, and some companies, I always ask them to find somebody in their company who's a very good spokesperson on behalf of them, right? Who can stand up in front of the camera and say things. Or if I do a press release, we'll get a quote from the company. And in some cases, some companies are willing to find somebody who is a very good speaker and who will speak on their behalf. But in some cases, they say to you, "Now, listen, everybody knows you, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. So we want you to speak on our behalf." So in many cases, you stand in front of a camera and make a statement. Say, "Listen, I'm representing this company. So this is what the situation is, and this is what's happened, and this is how we can help."
Okay, so that makes sense because you are definitely, and certainly around Brighton, but I've read today when I was reading about your new radio station about, the world famous Ambrose Harcourt and all of these things. So you are definitely a personality, if not like a celebrity in your own right. So you've kind of been standing up and also being spokesperson for your customers for these businesses.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've been lucky down here. I've lived in Sussex for most of my life, and I've created a career in down here, being on the radio, running a PR company that I would say a lot of people have heard about me. So hopefully in a good way, and so companies are willing to say, "Hey, listen, you stand up and talk on our behalf," because the chances that it's going to create a good image with the public. And yeah, so I mean, you can say I'm a celebrity. I suppose most people in Sussex will say I am, and it's not because not only have I worked on the PR, but I've worked on the radio uh, throughout the southeast. I've worked for Capital Radio in London. I've worked for Southern FM, which is now Heart. I've worked for Ocean in Hampshire. I worked on the BBC in London in broadcasting. I worked on BBC One and Two on television. I worked on Radio 5 Live. So, I mean, I've worked everywhere. And the small radio stations, I worked on Arrow. I've worked on, Bright. I helped launch Arrow FM in Hastings. I've worked on Sovereign as well. And down here in Sussex, I've worked on quite a lot of the smaller stations as well. So, yeah. And then we've launched Regency Radio, which I would ask anybody listening to this, if you have a mobile, which I'm sure most of you do, download the Regency Radio app. Go onto your app store, download the Regency Radio app, and you can listen to Regency Radio anywhere in the world. We were very, very lucky. Martin does not mind. I'll talk about Regency Radio. We launched Regency Radio during the lockdown in the UK. And what happened is that we just used it as an area where people can get listen to music and get a bit of company during the lockdown. And it became so successful that we decided to apply to Ofcom for a license. And we were amazed. We applied for a 3-year license with Ofcom, but they were so impressed with our application that they wrote to us and offered us an 8-year license. 3 of us started Regency Radio. And I'm so delighted. The reaction we've had since we had our official Ofcom license to kick off at the end of May 2021. And we've just achieved tremendous feedback, and our figures on radio analytics, it's unbelievable. We have we've got over 1,000 listeners in a few months, whereas some of the other radio stations down here on their radio figures, Capital Brighton, we noticed in the last radio had 19,000 listeners, and More Radio, which covers most of Sussex, only had 61,000 listeners. So we are so delighted with how it's progressing. But it's a lot of publicity. Apart from this radio station sounding very well, I've been responsible for getting all the PR and the marketing for Regency Radio. And we've just got press release upon press release, and we've been supported by the press down here and publicized it quite a lot using social media. I've got over 20,000 followers on social media. So I get every press release, everything that we get on social media, and amazing. The radio station is taken off. We get feedback from all over the world, from America, from all over Europe, Switzerland, France, Germany, Portugal. We get stuff from Nigeria, from Ghana, all over the world. And in the UK, we just run a competition for Montezumas. Montezuma's the chocolate people, right? And we were just amazed. We got so many people entered for the competition from the UK, from Ireland, from Scotland, from all over the place, Brighton and Hove, Sussex, all over the place. And the station is just taken up. We started with 3 presenters. We now have 14 presenters on the radio station, and every timeline is taken care of. And we have some fantastic music. What the selling point for Regency Radio is no adverts. We don't have any adverts. It's non-stop music, no adverts. And you got to find a hook. That's why with marketing, you've got to find a hook. And the hook we found is no adverts. And people love a radio station, non-stop music, no adverts. It sells itself.
Fantastic. But you know why, don't you, Ambrose? It's because you've done the PR with that energy and that enthusiasm. That's why it's working. But this is what strikes me about you, is that, you know, you've done these amazing things. You've had this huge success for your clients. You've had this huge success for your charities. And yeah, like the way you struck me, I know we didn't know each other. You don't remember meeting me at all. You obviously made a bigger impression than I did. But the thing that struck me about you always was that you always kind of presented like this archetypal, or like the epitome of like the gentleman PR guy. Do you know what I mean?
A gentleman of cool.
Gentleman of cool. Okay. If you like. So how did you... So I didn't realize you'd done quite so much media before. So is it because you came from the media that you started a PR company? Is that how it worked?
No, to be quite honest, I went to university and I got a degree in chemistry. Never. But then when I finished at uni, I decided, when I was at uni, we started a university radio station, and the committee we had were all engineers, right? And then when they finished setting up the radio station, they said, "Listen, you're the boss, you're in charge, so you got to get on the microphone and broadcast." And that's how it all started, really. I went on there and I thought I was absolute crap, but everybody else thought I was brilliant. So when I was in London, I went and did a course I joined the BBC Bush House, the World Service. And that's how I got to meet a lot of my heroes in radio. People like Johnny Walker, Tommy Vance. People who are doing programs on the World Service. And from there, I started applying to radio stations, local radio, and eventually got my first job with Southern FM in Brighton.
Wow. You know
Well,
what?
in those days, yeah, go ahead.
I actually remember Southern FM. They were there in Port Slade, weren't they?
Absolutely, yeah. It
Yeah.
used to be called Southern Sound Radio when I first joined, because we evolved so much,
Yes.
And then I was there. I mean, it's yeah, it's amazing, and then that's how it all happened, started. And I went on there to go and work for the BBC in London, and then came back and stayed in Sussex, and helped set up lots of radio stations in Sussex as well. And the other thing I would tell you about, Martin, is the charities. As you mentioned at the beginning, that I'm involved with I've worked for a lot of charities. I worked for the Prince's Trust. I've done stuff for Help the Aged. Lots of different charities I've done stuff for. But got to tell you about Chestnut Tree House. Chestnut Tree House is the only children's hospice in East and West Sussex and South East Hampshire. And I was the founding patron of Chestnut Tree House, which I'm so proud of. And the way it started, it's amazing because I was on the air broadcasting, and this lady rang me up. Like you get loads of calls. And she rang me up and said, "You may not know me, but I'm the lady who is the chairman of St. Barnabas." It said, "We all know you because you live down the road from me. And we're thinking of starting a children's hospice, and we're looking for somebody who everybody knows." So I said to her, "All right, I'll make some suggestions for you." She said, "No, it's not. I don't want any suggestions from you." He says, "You are the person we're thinking of because everyone knows who you are." Because I was going to suggest loads of names for her, and I said, "I don't believe you." Anyway, we eventually arranged to meet for coffee, and at first I wasn't really that keen because we all have in show business, or we all have a good excuse. I'm too busy. But this lady, she was one of those ladies you can never say no to. She carried on after a few months, persuaded me to be part of be the founding patron of Chestnut Tree House. And we started off, we had to raise £5 million in 3 years to build a house. This is where marketing and PR comes in, Martin. Right, we worked very, very hard over that time, doing lots of events everywhere to raise the money. And at the end of it, we raised £5 million in 3 years to build Chestnut Tree House. And we're lucky. Lady Sarah gave us the land for nothing. We have to pay £1 every year for it, which is nothing really. But there you go. And today, Chestnut Tree is the biggest children's hospice around this area. And also, St. Barnabas is the adult hospice, and we had to also raise loads of money to build a new home for the St. Barnabas. And the thing I'm proud about today, Martin, is when I first joined, I think there was about 20 people who worked with St. Barnabas and Chestnut Tree House. Today, we have over 100 people employed by Chestnut Tree House and St. Barnabas, and we have over another 200 volunteers working for the organization. We've got a brand new St. Barnabas house, which we raised a lot of money for, and of course, Chestnut Tree House is thriving like nobody's business. So it's a lot of having the right face, the right place, being in the right place, knowing a lot of people, and don't be afraid to ask for help. If you do, you'll be amazed what you can achieve.
Okay. I mean, that's really inspiring. I mean, really inspiring.
Thank
But the
you.
thing that comes through again is again, your energy and your enthusiasm. So, so you're an accidental DJ who ended up working for the BBC on BBC One and BBC Two. And then now you're accidentally the founding patron, and now vice president of these charities. Is there any process to any of this?
There's no process, mate. There's no, there's no process. It's belief and confidence. If you believe in yourself and you're confident about it, you can get about and do whatever it is that you want to do. You have to have a goal. If you have a goal and you're prepared to work, don't sit on your ass all day thinking that somebody will do it for you. Get out there and do it yourself. and hard work pays off.
Right. Okay, but the only problem with that, Ambrose, is that it's going to be really hard for other people to be you, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, I agree, and that's the thing, Martin. I don't expect everyone to be like me. I don't expect that because we're all very, very different. You know, everybody's got a different personality, and that's why, you know, you're talking about marketing and PR. Most companies know how to run their business, but they don't know how to publicize it or raise awareness of it. That's why you need a professional to come and help you. Somebody who can stand up there, talk about your business with confidence. I mean, I can give you a very good example of PR on the hospitality and marketing side that will resonate with a lot of people listening to this.
Please.
A few years ago, I think it was about 6 years ago, I was introduced to a couple. They're Vietnamese, and they came to Brighton, and they were setting up their very, very first. They were buying a first hotel, right? And needed a lot of work doing to it. And they're fantastic. And I got to know them, and they said, "Listen, we want you to come and do PR for us," you know. And so I think it's over 6 years ago now. I've known this family, and we worked hard. And they own the Charm Hotel, Charm Boutique Hotel in Brighton, in Kent Town. It was voted one of the top 10 hotels in Brighton last year and the year before as well, right? And they started from nothing, right? But they got a lot of class, they worked very, very hard to sell this hotel. It's about 34, 35 rooms now. And since then, and I've worked with them as their PR person, because they got to know me. They liked the way I did business, and helped to publicize them and get them in all the magazines, newspapers, national newspaper. We had the Sun come down and do some stuff for them, the Express, we had all national papers. I'd send all these stuff to all the national papers as well, even foreign press. I got to visit Brighton to get involved with them, and all the avenues. I got them on the radio everywhere, lots of publicity for them. And they've grown from the hotel that I helped set them up with. They bought the next door and extended the hotel. They've got a spa in there now. They've got pedicure and manicure places in that hotel. They've bought another hotel down the road, which is called Sea Spray, and they've got a third hotel now, which is in Regency Square in Brighton. And they've now, I think I'm happy to say that, they've just bought a new hotel right on the seafront in Brighton, a bigger one. So they're going to be having 4 hotels, and they've already told me they want me to work with them all the time. And not only have I got to know this couple themselves living down here, they live in Hove, but I've got to know their family. The mum and dad came over from Vietnam. I got to entertain them. In fact, they entertained us, my wife and myself, took us out to dinner. And because I know so many people and so many, they told me they'd never been racing. And I managed as a member of Goodwood. We took them out racing at Goodwood, and they had a fantastic day, right? And invited us to lots of dinners, and he loves playing golf. I got him to play golf in lots of venues around Sussex. So not only do I know this couple, I know all their family now, and that's how relationships are. It's amazing what PR has done for me, and but you have to do the work, and people appreciate you for the work they do. And now, not from one small hotel they started with, they now got 4 hotels. And hey, am I proud of that? Because I am.
It's the same thing again, Ambrose. It's the like you say, oh, we just got the Sun involved, we just got the Express, we just did all these things. It's like, how do you do those things?
By first of all, you've got to do the work. You've got to write the press release and make sure it sounds attractive. They're all contacts. You know, over the years, I've built up lots of contacts. I've got contacts in practically every local paper around Sussex. I've had them featured in every newspaper around Sussex. Magazines. I had magazines to come and take pictures and do special features on the Charm Hotel. I got in touch with national press. I got, visit days, got them to come down for the weekend, stay the weekend at the hotel, write reviews. It was in all the Sunday papers and stuff like that. That's what you do. That's if you're a marketing PR person, you got to do the work. You got to help the hotel raise awareness, and that brings in customers. And the other thing I've got to tell you about, if you go to all the comments that people write in the papers, what's the venue where people always check before they go to a hotel?
Um,
Martin. Uh, oh God,
where do they go?
I should know.
Hotel.com or
No, no.
Booking.com, those kinds of
Where they
places?
write people write comments. People write comments. Oh, come to me. If you go to one of these things,
Trustpilot or something like that.
what did you say, pilot? No, no, no,
Trustpilot?
no.
Okay,
Travel across.
TripAdvisor.
Eh?
TripAdvisor. TripAdvisor.
TripAdvisor. That's the word I
Okay.
was saying to people. If you go to TripAdvisor and check the Charm Hotel, you would find that 98% of the comments are absolutely either fantastic. It's 4 or 5 star comments that you get for TripAdvisor for the Charm Hotel. And because we encourage everyone that they have a fantastic stay at any of the hotels, that they do a TripAdvisor comment for us, and that's really what helps sell the hotel. Because most people these days, before they're booking anywhere, they check TripAdvisor to see how good they are, and people keep coming back and get introduced to more people as well. So that all helps.
Okay, good. Right. So this is coming to kind of my understanding or the way I try and get people to think about marketing, which is at the core of it, you have to have a fantastic product. Because if you've got a
Yeah.
terrible product and you pour lots of customers into that product, then that's how you break a business essentially. And then,
Absolutely.
yeah. So the other thing that I'm interested in is that this has largely been about media, but the media has changed enormously in the last 4 or 5 years. It's changed unrecognizably in the last 15 years. So,
Absolutely. And that's why social media these days is really, really important. And one of the big selling points I do with the hotels now is social media and also Regency Radio. One of the things that's helped us excuse me, one of the things that's helped us on Regency Radio is social media. Everything goes on social media, comments, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, everything. Just go put everything out there, and people pick it. Us. You got to do the proper interviews and get them in the magazines and so on, because people read magazines. People still read newspapers, but social media is very, very important, and that's the way to really help increase the awareness and profile of your organization.
okay, so that's interesting then. So, have you had to now the way I talk, interestingly, like because I teach and I've taught social media for Lord knows maybe 14, 15 years now, and I've taught digital marketing. But interestingly, the hardest people to convey the value of social media to were the traditional media people. Like I was telling them, this is just media, but now it's social. So you should understand this. It's essentially the same way that media always works. You have to build an audience and then you leverage that audience. And that's kind of how media works. And that's how social media works. But they were really slow on the uptake, I think, the social media people in particular. So, so
Mm.
those two things, did you have to learn social media or was it a
Oh,
question?
absolutely, absolutely. Because I'm of the older generation, you would say. But so you have to put yourself out there and learn about it. So that's why, I'm still not as good as I'd like to. The younger people are much better. So I utilize all the people I know, young people I know, who can help us on social media as well to get the message across. But even now, I think I'm much better at it, and I can do it myself. And if I need help, I can. The thing, never be scared of asking for help. I'm one of those people, I'm not going to walk about a supermarket. I can't for ages looking for something. I get somebody who knows where these things are. I ask them, listen, mate, I'm looking for this. Can you tell me where it is? Do they work there? And you find it within a few minutes. If you're walking around all day long, you can spend half an hour looking for something. You can't find it. Whereas I can find it in 2 minutes because I asked somebody who knows.
Okay, good. I'm loving this conversation, man. Really loving this conversation.
Thank
So
you.
your kind of specialization, as I understand it, always was kind of hospitality. And am I right in thinking that you did a lot in the way of events?
Yeah, we do a lot of events, because also, apart from running the PR company, we also run AHPR Entertainment, and we have over 500 acts that we deal with. We've got bands, we've got DJs, we've got Santas, Father Christmases, we've got children's entertainers, and we deal with all these venues. With the clients, the artists are artists. They check with us, and we have all the information, and we sort of hire them out to different venues that want them. And we have venues that we deal with, and we can give them all the acts they want. Whether they want a DJ, they want a band, they want a tribute act, whatever they want, we can find it for them. So we got lots of ways that we generate a business.
Okay.
And that's one of them.
So this is interesting because these are the areas of business that have been most impacted by what's been going on for like the last 2 years. So
absolutely.
What has your experience been of that, or how have you navigated that?
It's been the most difficult. I mean, because especially with our acts, at Christmas time, we used to be November, December, and January. Used to be so busy. Last Christmas, because of not this Christmas gone past, the Christmas before that, when the pandemic, we only had one act go out, whereas Christmas before that, we had about 50 bookings for November and December. Right. Whereas in Christmas before that, before the last Christmas before, and because of the pandemic, we only had one act go out, and that's how much it impacted us. Where you can get 20 to 30,000 pounds coming in a couple of months on events and stuff. I think we only got about 300 quid in, so you can see the difference.
Okay, so how have you responded to that?
Just make sure that everyone realizes what the situation is and what this year we're building up. Fingers crossed. I've already got 2 or 3 venues want to talk about organizing the entertainment for this coming year. So we're a lot more optimistic for this year than we have been for the last couple of years.
Yes.
But you just have to we said to the venues that, listen, all the artists realized that because of the COVID and cancellation could happen anytime. We don't say to them, you got to pay us a month in advance or this and that, the terms of the contract. We had to really shelve all our contracts and give it an open-ended contract whereby people can cancel in no time. And that's the only way to survive. There's no venue will book you up thinking, I'm going to pay you this and hopefully the event will happen. They won't do that. So you have to sort of be aware of the situation and tailor your suit according to people's needs.
Yes. And how was it this Christmas? Was there an improvement this Christmas?
Slight improvement, not an awful lot, because people were still worried about what's happened. But it's a little much better than this last Christmas when we had only one act went out. We've got a few more acts went out, but it's still nothing like it was like 2 years ago.
Right. And how are you feeling about this year? You think it's going to come back?
We're feeling a bit more optimistic, but it's still early days. We've got Omicron still in the air, and people are still worried about it. But events are going on now, so yeah, we're a little bit more optimistic.
Yeah. It's really interesting, isn't it? I mean, I read a thing today where they said that the streets in London are as quiet as they were maybe at the height of the pandemic again. So I don't know, how do I broach this question? It seems to me, Ambrose, that they've done a terrible PR job on this thing. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's even worth broaching it, but it seems to me that they've got people very scared. That's the way it seems to me.
Well, yeah, they have. They certainly have, and it's very difficult because in as much as we can all shout about it, but but is there a better way to handle it? I don't know. If there's a better way, it's something that we're not used to, we didn't expect, and it hits you just like that. And the most important thing is people's health and security. That's the most important thing. Money can come in later on, but you've got to worry. The most important thing is make sure that people are safe, people are healthy, people are secure before thinking about money. Business is fine, but it will eventually come back. But at the moment, it's people's health and security that's important.
Of course, 100%. Okay, good. Right. So the third question then is, what is your recommendation? I don't know if you've kind of suggested this already, but what is your recommendation if I am a business and I'm thinking that PR might be good for my business? I'm sure you would argue that, of course, it would be good for your business. How would I go about affecting PR in my business? Is it something people can do for themselves? I suppose is the first question.
A lot of people try a lot of people try to do it, but they don't have the expertise. And in which case it doesn't work, unless you hire somebody into your company who is specialist, and then that's the person's job to do, which some companies do, the bigger companies do. They hire somebody in, but most companies will look for somebody who can add value to their business in the way of PR and marketing.
100%. Because I think this is the thing maybe about market, but I think especially about PR, is if you speak to a business owner about what's interesting in their business, they won't get it right. They won't be able to see what's interesting in their business, Whereas it almost takes somebody coming in from the outside to say, like, I think that the trick of a marketeer is to be able to see the products and services in the business from a customer's point of view, customer's perspective. Yeah. But the point of a PR agency or a good PR agent will come in and be able to tell you what's newsworthy about what's going on in your business. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. So it almost feels to me like you do have to have somebody come in from the outside to do this for you. And then, like you say, there's a huge investment in having the network, knowing the media, all of those kinds of things. And I think there's something in the UK, I don't know if you feel this as well, but it's really, in the States, they don't mind at all jumping up and down and telling people how brilliant they are. But in the UK, it's almost like it's not good to be seen to be trying. Do you know that? Is that true?
But Americans in the US, years ago, I worked for an American company. And I learned a lot from American companies, And one of the things I learned was PMA, positive mental attitude. You got to win. It's a winning situation. You got to find ways to win, as long as it's fair enough, But in this country, we don't like shouting too much about what we're doing or whatever, But in America, they just love shouting about it. They're positive. They raise awareness, and it's a bit different, but hopefully people will gradually learn as we go along. Maybe social media will be an angle that will help people realize that they're going to do a bit more shouting about their business and themselves.
I think so, yeah. And it's interesting because I had a conversation. A friend of mine does anxiety coaching, and I had a conversation with him quite early on in the pandemic. And what I said to him is, like, people are going to need what we do. Like, business is going to need marketing, absolutely, and people are going to need coaching. People are going to have anxiety is what's going to happen. So it's interesting. He put his shoulder to the wheel, and now is doing really well, supporting lots of people, doing really well for himself. I didn't so much, so I'm not, but that's okay as well.
Just mention something there, Martin, if I interrupt you. If you have a link to this guy about anxiety, I'd love you to send it to me. Because one of the things, one of the other jobs I do lots of different jobs, is I'm doing some work for an organization called Emerging Futures, and I do lots of Zoom groups. And the group I was doing this last few days, a lot of people wanted me to do something about anxiety. So I'm looking for as much information as I can get on anxiety. So if you can send me a link, I'll be grateful.
I 100% can. What I will do is I will send you I'll send you a link to his site, and I'll send you his WhatsApp number so you can, and I'll let him know that you're going to be reaching out. That's absolutely no problem to do that. So it seems to me that there were really two kind of businesses going in. I spoke to somebody much earlier in this series, and they developed a thing which was COVID-proof, where they would go into businesses and this was very early on, and give them a sense of how they need to evolve their business if they're going to kind of cope with what's been going on. But there were businesses that could evolve and cope, and there were businesses that just clearly couldn't. So I think that's been the challenge for the last 2 years. Okay, Is there anything you think that you should have said that you haven't said yet?
I think I've said a lot already, haven't I?
You have said a lot. And the thing is, yeah,
And the thing is, you were saying, the thing is,
the thing is, I think, what do people, I'm quite a process like, so my thing is digital marketing. So digital marketing is probably more like chemistry than it is PR. So there's lots of numbers, there's lots of kind of objective stuff going on. And I teach, so I'm kind of teaching processes. Um, so it sounds to me like your process is be Ambrose Harcourt.
sounds like it. Yeah, it does.
Yes.
I find it has worked for me over all these years. So yeah, but I'm always learning. You see, I'm always learning. I always say to people, "You can't stop learning." You know, if it's amazing. Every now and again, practically every day, I'm always looking for something new to learn. You know, and a
Yes.
new process, a new something that will enhance my knowledge. You know, you never stop learning. And if you shut the door and think, hey, you've done it all, then of course you're on the way down, aren't you?
You are on the way down. Yeah, 100%. And I think, especially in PR, especially over the last 15, 20 years, like media has evolved so much that if you
Yeah.
weren't learning, I mean, I think maybe PR is as valuable. Like there are aspects of PR, like as opposed to getting things into magazines now, if you can get them onto websites with links, etc., then that's really important for search engine optimization. The influencer type stuff that you've done forever has become really important in digital marketing. The reputation management has become really important, I think, in digital marketing. So I think there are really key areas of PR that are at the very cornerstones of digital marketing. So I think PR is probably more valuable maybe than it's ever been. What about the actual press, like the publications, the magazines and things? Has that, because people have been saying now for 30 years that that side of the business will die. Is that your experience?
A lot of it has, a lot of publications have sort of not survived, but there's still some lovely publication, powerful ones still going around, and there'll always be magazines, but maybe not as many as we used to have before.
Okay. And I suppose that's okay as well. That just means that the readership becomes more concentrated.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know,
Okay.
just like newspapers and stuff.
Yes. Okay. Well, this has been really useful and really interesting. Thank you so much for your time. Um,
No problem at all.
it feels it feels like we've got to the end. Have we got to the end?
I think so, unless there's anything else that you think you're missing out on or that you want to talk about.
I think of all the people I've spoken to, this is the case where it really is outlook, personality, and kind of attitude driven. That's kind of the way it feels to me. I don't know if it feels, and obviously lots and lots and lots of hard work, but phenomenal work that you've done with your charities, with your businesses, with the radio stations. It looks to me from here like everything has worked, but that's probably because it's just great PR.
I suppose you can say that. It's been, Martin, I always say to my kids and a lot of my family and friends, I've been very, very lucky. But you make your own luck in this world, don't you? You know, I've been very, very lucky. I've met some fantastic people. I mean, being a DJ, I used to work in the western of London. I used to work in Mayfair at Annabelle's. Have you heard of Annabelle's nightclub?
I have heard of Annabelle's nightclub, yes.
It's the poshest nightclub in London. It's like it's all the Parfait people go there. And I was the resident DJ at Annabelle's for a couple of years. And I met everybody. I met Mick Jagger, I met Rod Stewart, Brian Adams, you name it, all the stars and all the business people used to go in there, the really rich ones, and whoever the who's who of show business used to go to Annabelle's. Michael Flatley, all those people, they used to come in. Madonna, they all used to come into Annabelle's nightclub, and I was the resident DJ there. And you get to see how the other half lives. You know how the other half lives, and I'm one of those characters, personalities. I can sort of I've met prime ministers. I can go up there and I can meet the homeless. You know, the work I do now, I working with emerging futures. We deal with people on the other end of the ladder, but there's still people like you and me, but they're different areas. You know, people who are homeless, people who have addiction, whether it's drug, alcohol, and find they've lost everything in the world. They don't want to be around anymore. And you, by the way you are and the training you've had, you can communicate with them, you can help them, you can, you start the thing I haven't mentioned to you, the work I do now is, you meet people who think they want to die because they've lost everything in life and their life is not worth living anymore because of drugs, alcohol, and all that. And you be able to help and support them, guide them in different stages. To you meet up with them months later, and they're well dressed. You meet them for coffee, and they're looking very, very good. Some have gone to get jobs, and you think to yourself, and one or two of them say to you, "This without your help, and the one or two of the other people I work with, I wouldn't be here today. I'd be dead." And that's how you think to yourself, "Wow, I've really made a difference." And that keeps me happy, keeps me alive, and keeps me wanting to go out there and help more people. Because that's how satisfaction. I've been very, very lucky in my life. I've met so many different people, and I've been lucky enough to be able to make a lot of difference to people. A number of people I meet, and they say, "Oh, Ambrose, I used to listen to you on the radio. And you know what? When I was really, really bad, you were the person who I let into my house on the radio." One that happened to me only a few weeks ago. This lady said, "Are you Ambrose?" I said, "Yes, I am." She said, "You know what? I go to bed with you, and when I turn around, you're gone." She has the radio on when she's going to bed, and of course I'm on. And by the time she wakes up, I'm not there anymore because it's a breakfast show or something else. She said, "Oh, I do miss you when you're not there." And I
Wow.
think to myself, that's great. Thank you very much. But people appreciate what you've done. And that gives me a lot of satisfaction.
Yeah, and it's true what they say. People won't remember what you said. They may not remember what you did, but they'll remember definitely the way that you made them feel. That's yeah.
Absolutely.
Bless
Absolutely.
you,
Yeah.
Ambrose. So you know this
Thank you,
three
Martin.
degrees of separation theory. Do you know that?
I've heard about it, yes.
Yeah, so the idea is that you have some relationship with everyone on the planet by 3 degrees of. I feel like I have a relationship with everyone on the planet by 3 degrees by knowing you, Ambrose.
Oh, that's kind of you to say that, Martin. I hope you say that to all the boys.
So, Ambrose, I think the only thing that we have to do now is you have to do a bit of PR about this radio station because I don't think you've given people quite the. So, you said earlier, did you say how many thousands of listeners do you have already?
We have over 100,000 listeners in a few short months, and it's just amazing. A few thousand listeners. It's Regency Radio. If you have a mobile phone, I hope, Martin, you're going to do it after this. Go to
Yep.
your mobile app, your app store, right?
Yep.
Put in Regency Radio Brighton, or just put in Regency Radio. If you've got a mobile phone, do it now, even while I'm with
I'm
you.
doing it right
Just
now, Ambrose.
brilliant. Put
That's how
Regency
effective
Radio.
this PR is.
It is, isn't it? Put Regency Radio, and you
Okay.
get our logo. Our logo comes up, and and then you can download it.
I am really doing this right now. So, when are
Fantastic.
you on? And can I listen to anyone
You
at
can
any
listen
time? Because I'm on a different
and
time zone.
anytime. Once you
Yep.
download it now, put it on very briefly while we're talking. I can tell you whether you've got the right station because I'm listening to us in the background here as well. I just
Okay.
said Regency Radio.
Right. It's 73%, 79%. It's very exciting. 82%. It's installing. So,
Good.
because,
Yeah.
and you, yep.
I, well, I'm on. There's 14 presenters now. I'm on Monday to Thursday from
Yep.
9 to midnight with the Love Hour. Okay.
Right. Okay.
Monday to Thursday, 9 to midnight with the Love Hour. Then on Sunday, I'm on twice. I do the
Okay.
breakfast show on a Sunday morning from 7 till 10. It's
Okay.
the best of soul and Motown, right? You would love it, Martin.
Okay.
The best of soul and Motown from 7 to 10. And then I'm on back in the evening with the Love Zone, playing you the best love songs on the radio between 9 and midnight. And we feature the Love Bites Top 3. The Love Bites Top 3 is the choice of one of our listeners and their top 3 favorite love songs and the reasons why they love these songs, you know?
Okay.
And yeah, and but we've got some great presenters. We got Tony P. We got Mark Dobson, who does the breakfast show from 7 to 10 in the morning, Monday to Friday. He is brilliant. Then from him, Tony Patelli, who used to be, in fact, he is a businessman. He's a great one. Another one that you could talk to. I could recommend you talking to Tony Patelli because he runs a consultancy business. If you wanted some
Okay.
recommendations, he'd
I
be
did
one to
want some
recommend to you.
recommendations, and I'd completely forgotten about needing recommendations. So Tony
There you go.
Patelli, how do I spell Patelli?
Portely, double L I, Tony Patelli.
Okay, excellent. So
We
that's
call him
one.
Tony. We call him Tony P. He's on from 10 till 1 every day, Monday to Friday.
Okay,
And then
during the day.
we got during the day. We've got Jay Jackson, who is the whiz kid. He's one of the directors. There's 3 directors: myself, Jay Jackson, and Carlos Espanol. Carlos English. We call him Carlos Espanol. He does so Jay's on in the afternoon. He does the Jay Jackson bangers from
Yep.
1 to 4. And then we've got Richard Thompson drives you home from 4 to 7. Then we've got Carlos Espanol from 7 to 9. And then I'm back on the Love Zone from 9 to midnight.
Okay, so I can only hear you when you are on. I can't hear you. I can't select. You haven't got recorded shows or anything like that.
No,
Okay.
we're not there yet. We're going to get there eventually, but we're new babies in this business. We
Okay.
actually made unbelievable progress,
Good.
But you could hear me doing an ad, or not an ad, but because we didn't do it, it's not advertisements, but you can hear my voice promoting a program that I'm doing or somebody else's program. But you can hear
Okay,
me doing
great.
it.
Excellent.
But did
Okay.
you manage to download? Did you manage to download it? Let's share it now.
Am I going to get a copyright strike?
No.
Wait a second. No, before we do that, 2 things. So because of the time zones, it's only going to be the Sunday morning thing that works. So Sunday is from what time to what time?
7 a.m. to 10 a.m.
7 a.m. to 10 a.m. I will be listening this Sunday and every Sunday if I possibly can. So now you've got 100,001 listeners.
I will say hello to you, Martin, on Sunday morning.
Excellent.
Listen out, Martin in Bali, listening to us this Sunday morning, and I'll play you a tune. How about it?
Have I got this wrong? I've just subscribed to something that's not you. I've got Tune In.
No. Oh, TuneIn Radio is fine. TuneIn Radio is fine. That's for I've got TuneIn Radio here at home. But have you got the app? Have you got the app? Show me the app you've got. Let me just make sure it's the correct one.
Okay, I think I've got the wrong one. I've got TuneIn Radio. Radio Regent, that's in Canada. I've done it wrong, Ambrose. Okay, while I'm struggling with this again, then you can think of somebody else I can talk to on my little media jaunt.
Okay, I'll tell you what, I'm going to do this while I'm with you. I've got Liz's mobile phone here, so I'm going to see if I can get this on here for you.
Why have you got?
What's up? Yeah, I got my
Regency Radio Brighton.
Regency Radio, you got it.
Okay, good. This one.
That's it. Okay, it's downloaded. Good. That's the one. That's the correct one. It's the correct logo as well.
Right, it's pending. Now I've spent £7. I've subscribed with these other people, so I'm going to have to go and cancel that.
Cancel that. You don't want to spend money. On ours, it's free. You don't have to spend any money.
Okay, so how are you making money then? That's a good question. There's no ads and there's no subscription.
Right. Our model. The model is non-stop music, no ads. That's what's selling the station at the moment. Our job is sponsorship. We're looking for people to sponsor, companies to sponsor shows or the radio station. And that's one of the jobs I'm doing, getting in touch with. We didn't want to do it straight away as soon as we started. You have to have figures to show people what you're doing, and we've done over the past 6 months or so, we've built up a good audience now. So now getting in touch with companies and telling them all about what we're doing and our figures to back up what we've done so far. And we're asking for sponsorship. We need people to sponsor programs or to sponsor the radio station. That's all. And we've worked out our model that we can survive on sponsorship. Because
Excellent.
the feedback we get, Martin, people love the no adverts, non-stop music, no adverts.
Excellent.
Because
It's the way radio should be, I think. People really hate adverts. I don't know if you're a podcast person, but I listen to Joe Rogan on Spotify, and I pay a subscription to Spotify so I don't have to listen to ads. Apart from on the Joe Rogan thing, I do have to listen to ads. And I hate it. Really? I really hate it.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
Okay, so good. So they are playing. Yes, it worked. They were playing West End Girls like 30 seconds ago.
You got it. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. You got the right station because I'm listening to it here as well.
Excellent. Okay, good. So then all I need from you is just one other person that I can talk to on this series.
I've given you my Tony Patelli, haven't I?
You've given me Tony Patelli, yep.
What else can I? Oh God, there's loads of people I can think of, but I don't want to give you anybody where you waste your time on.
Okay.
I've got one or two people in Brighton who I'm going to suggest to you.
Yes.
One of them is what's his? Nick Harvey. Have you heard of Nick Harvey?
I know Nick Harvey.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he does a lot of stuff to do with Nick Harvey. He does a lot of stuff to go do with restaurants in Brighton.
Yes. And he used to run the Curry Club, didn't he?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, Nick Harvey. Yeah. So I've given you two there, Tony Patelli and Nick Harvey.
Okay, super cool. I will let them know that you suggested I speak to them.
Yeah,
you are an absolute legend, Ambrose. Thank you so much for your time, man.
Well, listen, it's been a pleasure chatting to you. And hopefully, when you've done this, do you send a link out to me to have a what?
Yes, so what will happen is...
Yeah, go on.
What will happen is it's called Talk Marketing Tuesdays. So this will go live a week on Tuesday. I'm not sure what the date is a week on Tuesday. But as soon as it is live, then I will send a link to you and I will share it on my social media. And if you could also share it, that would be also really good.
That's why I was thinking I could do something for you because I've got loads and loads of people following me on social media all around the world. So it could be useful for you.
That would be perfect. That would be amazing. And I'm going to set a reminder to make sure I'm listening to you between 7 o'clock and 10 o'clock on Sunday morning.
Sunday morning. Brilliant. What time will it be in Bali? What time will it be?
At 7 and 10? 7 o'clock in the morning. We are 8 hours ahead of you at the moment. So at 7 o'clock in the morning, 7 plus 8 is 3 p.m. in the afternoon. So between 3 and 6 p.m. on Sunday, I'll be listening to you.
Oh, brilliant. In Bali. Fantastic.
Yes, and I've agreed to. I've let them do the analytics, so maybe you will have a blip now this week in Indonesia. Maybe I'll be your first Indonesian listener.
No, we probably have quite a few already there in Indonesia. May you be amazed when we get these things come through, right? And we're amazed. People from all over the place, Zimbabwe and all that, and we think, wow, people listening to us in all these places, But so I haven't looked at the figures for Bali or Indonesia, but I will do later on, and it'd be interesting.
Okay, cool. And give me a shout on Sunday because I will be listening, and let me know how many people there are listening in Indonesia.
Okay, right, fantastic. Nice to talk to you, my friend, and good luck, and I hope everything goes well. I mean, I've been to Australia many, many times, and I keep telling to myself, one of my next trips, I've got to make Bali my stop, because I've stopped in Singapore, I've stopped in different places, but I've Thailand, but I've never stopped in Bali. And
okay,
I want to come to Bali one day. So
you have
I'm
you have a friend in Bali.
Brilliant, because if I didn't live in this country, the only other place in the world I'd love to live in is Australia. I mean, I've traveled a lot. I mean, we haven't talked about it. I've traveled a lot. I've been to Russia, I've been to America. I've had a musical tour of America, all the big places in the States, Detroit, Michigan, LA, Memphis, Tennessee. I mean, you can name, I mean, I've been to Cleveland, Ohio, where the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is, LA, and, loads and loads of places, right? A lot of Africa. I've seen quite a bits of Africa. South America, I did because I didn't mention it. Or did I mention it to you? I did the Inca Trail for Chestnut Tree House
Wow.
in 2019. 2019, just
Wow.
before we actually went in November. 11 days camping and trekking to do the Inca Trail. Between the 34 of us, we raised £154,000 for Chestnut Tree House. Martin, is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, but it's the proudest thing I've ever done in my life because
Yes.
it's out of my comfort zone. I love the good life. I hate camping. I've only camped once in my life, never done it before. Trekking is not my thing. I love going on a train, on a bus, or driving a car. Trekking, I'll go for a walk, but trekking is a different ball game. And to do the Inca Trail, camping and all that, it was hard. But we
Wow.
raised £154,000, and I've made friends for life. Friends for life. We still meet on WhatsApp. We had a curry before Christmas, all of us together, the team who did the Inca Trail more than 2 years ago now. We're still friends everywhere, and we share everybody's birthday and all that. It's amazing. And we had Jodie Kidd, the famous model,
Yes, yes,
actress,
yes.
and
Racing
she
car
did the
driver.
trail with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. She did. She was on the Inca Trail with us, raising money for Chestnut Tree House, and it was some of those things. It's one of the things, Martin, I will never ever forget. And
Yes.
that I did the Inca Trail. We raised all
Wow.
that money, and it was satisfying. And the friends I've made from there, they'll be my friends for life, ever.
Wow.
Amazing. Yeah.
Ambrose, you are a legend, man. Thank you so much.
Martin, it's been a pleasure talking to you. I didn't realize it's going to be this pleasurable talking to you, but it has been, and I really enjoyed it. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you so much. I'll speak to you again soon.
You take care.
You too.
Lots of love. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Ambrose. Bye.
Bye.